Alrighty. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming to today's Toolbox Talk. We'll start having it in the keep having it in the break room here, and we're also live recording so that we can have lessons learned an archive for those to share with other locations. So go ahead and get started. As you're aware, today's title of the Toolbox Talk is Safe Lifting and Handling Techniques. And the overall objective of the talk is just to educate you all on the safe lifting technique, why it's important, and also where to locate lifting and handling aids in the event that you need one. Just to kind of give you a little bit of information on why this is important, approximately 90% of all industrial activity involves material handling. So that's a big number. It's a huge number, actually. So it's very important that we adhere to the best practices and techniques that are being discussed during today's Toolbox Talk. And we're also well aware that two of our colleagues are out due to manual material handling related injuries. So not only does this put stress on them because they're worried about coming back to work and returning back quickly, but it also puts stress on us as well because we're having to make up for their lost time. So just be mindful of proper techniques whenever you're having to manually move anything. We're going to also review, like I said, some techniques. And ultimately, I just want you all to know that we don't want anyone else to suffer from an injury of this sort. It is long term. It is something that you just can't quickly recover from. So please take heed to the information from today's session, and remember to always check in too with your neighbor if you see them not doing something safely. Just check in with them, just let them know that hey, it's not what we learned, and kind of bring them back on board with doing it safely. We'll go ahead and get started with the presentation portion. There are 3 specific motions that contribute to or increase your chances of experiencing an MMA-related injury. Does anyone want to take a stab at what one of the 3 of those are or is? Anyone? Okay, bending. And this involves repeated bending, lifting or lowering anything from the floor. Also, there's reaching. This is extended reaches overhead. And lastly, twisting. Any twisting of the torso to either lift or carry an object, okay? So those are the 3 that we definitely want to avoid whenever we're doing any sort of MMH task. So as you all know, I always have a visual aid. And today I've prepared a box for you. We're going to say that this weighs 20 pounds according to my signage. And I'm going to show you how to safely lift the bin. This is similar to the ones that you all use as well, so I chose this one. You're going to keep, everyone see? You're going to keep the load close to your body and in front of your body as well. And you're going to keep it in your power zone. And that's going to be from waist to knuckle height. Okay? So my destination is over here to this countertop. I'm going to keep it close to me. Instead of twisting, which is, normal to do, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to move my feet so that I can avoid twisting because we never want to twist. Boom. And move it over and lift it up. Okay? So this right here is a 20-pound box, and I'm actually going to redo that for the camera if you didn't capture that. So again, just to reiterate, you're going to have it here, close to your body and in front of your body, aligned. Keep it in your power zone, and move your feet to position the box to its rightful destination. Okay? And as you can see, it's a 20-pound box. Next, we're going to walk through a 50-pound box, lifting one of those. Okay, so this side indicates 50 pounds. Anyone want to let me know how to go about moving that? Exactly. We want to make sure we either get a buddy or we get a lifting aid of some sort to transport this one because we're required to not lift anything that's over 25 pounds. Okay? Alright, so just some additional best practices. We talked about keeping it in a power zone. We talked about avoiding twisting, keeping the object close to your body as well, and keeping it centered in front of you also. Also want to make sure that you're aware to avoid any quick or jerky movements that can also attribute to any sort of injuries from MMH tasks. And also, too, if you need to reduce the size of your load, because what's our motto here at Acme, our safety motto? It's always time to do it right. Exactly. So if you need to break up a load that you have, this one's 50 pounds. If you need to break it up to 225, by all means do so, because we're here for you to be safe, to get your work done safely. So that means that, so be it. Also, we talked about using the buddy system whenever you need help, and also checking in with your neighbor if you see that he or she is not doing something that you know is not is unsafe. So keeping those best practices in mind is very important. And one of the things that I want to harp on a little bit is just making sure that we don't put anything on the ground that needs to be picked up later. Even if it's not you picking it up, if you know someone else has to pick it up, avoid that at all costs. At least just make sure that we put things at waist level if at all possible. So I know we're running short on time here, so we'll go ahead and call out a volunteer. Do I see anybody who's readily available? Okay. Hey, oh, Jesse. Okay, you can come on in. Thanks for coming to the Toolbox Talk, Jesse. Here, I want you to walk us through how to lift this box here. This one's 25 pounds, what my signage indicates. So, Jesse, can you kind of walk me through what you would do in the event that you needed to move this?
Assess the box.
Okay, and what does that mean?
See how much it weighs, see how big it is, see if I can lift it by myself. So with this size box is 25 pounds. I can definitely lift this. I'm not just going to pick it up and move it to underestimate the box. Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Bring it close to my body. Lock my arm and step over to where I need to move. Like so.
Okay. Good. So Jesse showed us point out some important factors there that we like to carry out. So first, assess the box. How much does it weigh? And make sure that you're able to lift that. Our policy, Jesse is well aware of, is 25 pounds is okay. Anything over, not okay. So he was able to lift this on his own. Thanks so much again, Jesse, for participating. One thing that I will say too is I know that he kind of screwed over like this. However, whatever's your normal body curvature. So for Jesse, that was normal for him. However, make sure that we keep our destination in directly in front of us as well. So our ending position should be directly in front of us. And if your workstation prevents that from happening, let's have a talk, because we may need to do some sort of task redesign for your particular area. So again, Jesse was right, keeping the low right in front of you, and also moving your feet. So it's okay. I mean, you can do it like this as well. However, we want to make sure that we're seeing our end destination in front of us. So make sure that you actually turn to the end destination, and that way you have a clear vision of where you're actually taking the object to, and you can safely move it up to that ending position. Thanks again, Jesse, for that. So let's see how we're doing on time. We'll have enough time for a couple more questions as part of our quiz that we normally end on. And any volunteers, when should you get help when manually handling materials? Perfect. Anything that's over 25 pounds. That's too heavy, bulky, or awkwardly shaped. Absolutely. And lastly, where are the lifting aids located? Perfect. They're located next to the maintenance closet. And some areas do have their own. However, if you need to get one, you can go directly to there. I will also note too, if you see any defective material or equipment in there, make sure that you use the tag to label that. Take it out of service, notify your supervisor, and then we'll get that replaced. Lastly, I'll end with just saying that if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leverage that open door policy and come in and have a chat with me. Definitely work something out, and that way we're able to get to the root causes of the issues and address it appropriately. So thank you and have a good lunch.